That is Slave One. That is Slave One. Uh, the Slave One just arrived? Because. All right, let's go. Let's go. Okay. That's really cool.
We gotta get. Hey, snap out of it, kid. Are you Mandalorian?
I'm a simple man making his way through the galaxy.
He said the line.
My father before me.
He said
You
the
take
line.
the creed.
I give my allegiance to no one.
The Beskar belongs to the Mandalorians. It was looted from us during the Purge.
The armor was my father's. Now it's mine.
Oh, so it is his father's repainted armor.
Because I have a sharpshooter up on that roof.
Man, this episode, I mean, it was short, but it didn't seem short to me because it was so action packed. And I'm excited for the way it turned with Boba Fett and what's her name?
Finnick.
Yeah, thank you, Finnick Shan. I just thought that was pretty amazing. And then now they're in his debt, right? So they're like going to team up and getting Cara Dune in there, and I'm hoping they get some other players. I was hoping he was going to get Ahsoka, so I hope Ahsoka's not done, but who knows?
Oh, well, also, Grogu reached out into the Force. I don't know who he connected to, if anyone, if
Right?
there's going to be another person that is going to show up. There's some, and then they threw in Dark Troopers, and then we got some information on Django actually being a foundling.
Right. That was cool.
Yeah, they're doing all of the things.
Mando keeps misjudging other Mandos. It's interesting, or other people in Mandalorian armor, at least. And he's learning, I think.
He is learning. And plus, he said he told Grogu that he was special and like a special little child. And there's like such a touching little. I don't know. It just made me so happy.
I was holding my little Grogu. I was so happy. Now sad.
I wasn't expecting, but I really liked it. Like, it was so amazing to get to see Boba. Like, can I speak spoilers here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This one's going up on the YouTube channel, so
okay.
If you are there for the spoilers.
Okay. It was so nice to see Boba fighting without the armor and then with the armor, because we get to see how incredible he is. And Grogu, like, I don't know what happened. This kid is so aggressive. He's going to fall for the dark side.
He was not playing around.
Totally. And I don't know. I expect someone from the Ghost Crew to appear in the next episode. I don't know why, but I really want Sabine to show up, and I don't know how this is going to happen, but I hope it does. And yeah, that's it.
What's popping off for you? I mean, you had to change your shirt. I know. I don't blame you, but
yes, yeah. Sorry, I had no choice. Just everything was just totally unexpected for me, because I just figured, okay, Tython, we have 3 episodes left. They're probably gonna stretch it out. We won't get to Tython till the very last episode. It's, the last scene, the last frame of the last episode will be him putting little baby Yoda on, or sorry, Grogu, at that tower, like that peak. I was just expecting that to be like the cliffhanger for the next season. But no, like they just like kind of like how they did with Ahsoka. It's just like, no, here it is. This is what you've been waiting your whole life for. So like, why wait any longer? And that's what I love about Jon Favreau, because this is his imagination come to life, and we're experiencing it with him. It's just so beautiful, because it's like he's not trying to waste any time, or just keep, it's perfect. I'm speechless. That's all I have to say.
And I'm just remembering like the earlier when they're like, "Oh, I feel like this season's a lot slower." Are you dumb?
I know. I felt the same way. I was like, dude, this is the best thing. Like, even just the first episode, second episode, I didn't understand why people were complaining. It's like, I've never seen anything like this. Like the passenger episode, just everything about that episode I loved, and people were complaining. Like, it was,
same.
oh, this is just a side adventure, and it's like, those are the best parts. The adventure is the best part. Come on. And now we get the meat and potatoes and everything, and it's like, I don't feel like I was waiting at all.
I want someone from the Ghost Crew to appear, but I think it's going to be a Jedi. I don't know if it's someone that we already know. I don't know if it's Luke, Ezra, Cal. I really want to be Cal Kestis, but I don't think he's going to appear. And yeah, probably that. I know that Kevin said something I think is going to happen. Ahsoka is going to return, probably to save Grogu, because everyone loves Grogu. Yeah, that's it.
I would love it if the whole remaining Ghost Crew shows up. I mean, I think I would freak out if that happened, just with excitement. But I mean, I'm already freaking out. So I think Ahsoka will come back. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to throw in at least a cameo of Luke. There's been talk about like Sebastian Stan playing young Luke or something. Or, I mean, they've already de-aged him for the training scene in The Rise of Skywalker. So there's a lot of things they could do. I just don't think we'll get a lot of live action Luke. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would take 30 seconds or 10 seconds, whatever. Just a picture. Just, oh, there's Luke Skywalker. Let's go find him. That would make me happy.
We have Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
He's Luke. He can appear in live action.
That's what I'm saying. He definitely can. So, yeah. I think Moff Gideon's going to bite it at the end. At least I hope he does. Big time. But who knows if he's going to be stretched out to the next season. They still got to have a big bad, I guess. But
I mean, he's been great to hate. So far.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good villain. I hate that guy.
And we still don't know what his reason, what his cause is, and stuff like this. And that's
right. And Thrawn, like, are they? I mean, I think you put out a theory video that they're probably actually not on the same side. It's like they're not teamed up. They got totally different agendas. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I honestly, at this point, I don't know what to say. Like, all my predictions went out the window with this, because everything we got in this episode was what I was expecting next season. And
same.
and
same.
And we got it all. Like, we got to see Boba Fett in his full armor, and dad bod, and I loved it.
Well,
And,
especially getting to see him without him, so you know how kind of incapable. Because that's one argument I'm happy to put to bed, of people being like, "Why do you guys like Boba Fett? He doesn't do anything." I'm like, okay, now
more in this episode than he did in all the movies
combined.
Yeah.
Yes, this is very true.
And I thought they were gonna go head to head and just be like total, like, adversaries, and
That was Choco. That was Choco's
And yet-
theory.
Yeah.
yeah, and they just, now they're like on the same team and everything, and it makes me feel so happy. And I really love the direction they're taking it. So I don't know. The next episode, I'm just gonna go out and say Luke. I think Luke is gonna come. He's in his prime. He probably has easy transportation. He probably is like listening. He's been, in tune with the Force more than anyone ever has been. So he's gonna hear this message like instantly and come out. Like I think there's no doubt in my mind, especially the way Jon Favreau has been handling this. It's like he's just like, he's not holding anything back. It seems.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because Boba Fett is Jon Favreau's favorite character, so I guess I should have seen it coming. But this just
and we had like 4 Iron Men in this episode.
I almost, yeah,
Right?
The Iron Man scene with the tank.
Chaco?
Yeah.
Was this our first canon depiction of what the Force looks like?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we've never seen like a really visual manifestation. There's audio cues and stuff, but
Yeah, like 'cause this reminds me of like the Force depiction with Satele Shan's concentration.
Yeah, her Hadouken as well.
And like
we did see.
I included this in my video too after my reaction. I think this is the first time ever in canon we've seen, because this is how Force sensitives see the world. Like the stronger you are, the more of those wavy things you see. I thought that was awesome to see that in the episode.
Now I'm picturing Yoda just walking around seeing all this stuff and how it's connected to each other.
Yeah.
And then like laughing at all the plebs who are like walking around blind, and he's like, we are, we're just crude matter. Like this is the stuff that matters.
And he says luminous beings are we, and he's like literally seeing luminous beings. Everyone's like, I don't see anybody. What are you talking about?
My whole family is asleep right now, but the whole time I was trying to cover my mouth. I was gasping constantly, making big reactions. The only thing I was kind of disappointed about was like the Dark Troopers. They were only there for maybe a second, but it made sense why I said in the chat, why is it called the tragedy? Like I was so concerned. So I kind of figured that Grogu would be taken. But then seeing him like beating up the stormtroopers at the end, kind of like, I was like, okay, maybe he can take care of himself. And like, I was so happy with how Tython was made in live action. It looks so beautiful, and Boba Fett as well. I remember you posting a video about how he could possibly be a villain in the season, and I don't know, it just felt like a sort of a redemption for his character, because most of what we've seen of him is like this angsty teenager that like is mad at the world.
And he also did kind of go out as a punk.
yeah, but like now just I guess like we don't really know how much of like what has happened to him on Tatooine and like what he was doing out there, but I don't know, he seems changed, and I hope like they maybe explore more of that, because we know that they're going to be together more. But seeing him fight those stormtroopers, and we got a little bit of like how Boba is now with a mix of like old Boba and like the Boba that we know and love. So that was epic. That was amazing.
Yeah. Once Boba started fighting at full force, they were like, yeah, an escape seems appropriate.
Let's retreat in the opposite direction or advance.
Gaffy sticks are for more than Bantha toothpicks. Who knew?
Yeah, there was some weight to that thing when he's swinging it around.
Oh,
It was
man.
solid.
And then we had Fennec jumping off of rocks doing 360 no scopes. I was just thinking of my old Halo days, like.
So beautiful.
No, it was great.
I always knew that the person that would show up to answer Grogu's beacon was not going to show up on Tython. like, of course, this happened. So now the only thing in my mind is the reckoning that has to occur between Din and Gideon and rescuing Grogu. And I think when the time comes, when that reckoning is upon Gideon, that's when the Jedi is going to show up. Now, at first, I was like, oh, he's got to go get Bo-Katan and Ahsoka. He's got to, make the Avengers and go rescue Grogu. But I think this is the appropriate time for that Jedi to show up. So he's gonna get Bill Burr's character, and then, maybe a couple of others. Of course, he already has Boba and Fennec. They're going to go and rescue Grogu, and Deus Ex Machina happens. They kind of fail, and the Jedi is going to show up. And my prediction, as far-fetched as it seems, is Yaddle. Because I don't know if you I don't know if you read my message in Mando chat, but like the more I'm thinking about how they could do this in canon is, her feelings towards the Clone Wars was pretty apparent. Well, at least in Legends it was. But in canon, she just disappeared. And Shakti replaced her, and we didn't get anything from her. And so that my canon explanation for this is that she took the Barish. And if she took the Barish, she would see Grogu's, especially if she's Grogu's mommy.
But who's his daddy?
Yoda? I don't know.
Bud,
Maybe they got busy, but
what's her name was saying?
Whatever the case may be, I really think that if there's a chance to reinsert
Samuel
Yaddle,
Jackson. That's who it is.
oh,
We all
man,
know.
that image. If there's a way to reinsert Yaddle into canon, this is it. She was taking the vow. and she
Phrasing.
heard Grogu. And she's gonna show up. I think she's gonna show up.
Okay, I actually like that a lot because we briefly see her running in the Lego game that's going to be coming out, and it seems like a weird cut and like a deep cut character to toss in there. Maybe they're expecting some Yaddle love to kind of make it more popular. I don't know.
And she's not as old
Yaddles.
as Yoda too. So at this point, she would be 500, 600. I know she'd be alive.
Still in her prime.
Young.
Yaddles, as I like to call her. I hope it's not her personally, because she happens to die in the opening scene of my Kenobi fan fiction.
I honestly, I don't know, because so much has happened that I feel so much has happened that we haven't seen from the trailer, the original trailer. And it's just left everything to be very open-ended. And I feel like a lot of things that they're taking are from Legends, and I'm not very familiar with Legends content. But I always think the worst of everything. Like, as soon as I saw the Imperial ship, I was like, oh my God, they're going to kill Boba. Like, they're just going to they're just going to let us have him for a second and then just kill him off. Like, I was expecting the worst. And same with Ahsoka too. I was like, they're just going to bring her back just to kill her. So I don't think I'm a very valuable person to ask for predictions, but I'm looking forward to whatever happens. I enjoy all the theories that.
All right, so this did kind of crap on some of my theories, but I still maintain that Boba Fett could become the antagonist in the next season, and it would actually be way cooler for him to be the antagonist if we have a working understanding of him and how badass he is. But since the only thing that survived was the spear, we're gonna get Mando spear fight against the Darksaber. Because him with the spear, he's not going to take down like a Jedi, but I think that would be a fair fight. And depending on how cool or tough the dark troopers are, I mean, obviously, Boba was just taking down those stormtroopers, but these ones are going to be a little bit more difficult of a match.
Also, they had shackles for the size of Baby Yoda's hands.
I had to pause because those were the cutest little shackles I've ever seen. Is that weird? I was like, oh, look at them.
Put shackles on him.
Like, how'd you like to be the manufacturer for those? Like,
oh man.
Oh,
They're like the size. Sorry, they're like the size of those Entenmann's donuts. That's what I thought of. Someone should make that for like a finale watch party. Like someone should be in charge of like making donuts that size.
Maybe they had a problem with Jawas and they were using them for them. I don't know. Small Jawas.
yeah.
I was
So 6-year-old shackles made immediately.
Well, two things. I always picture Jawas as being like not actual creatures, but just like a bunch of rats in a coat.
Or like gnomes, like in Gravity Falls.
Like 7 rats on each other's shoulders in a robe.
It's like 50 of them working in unison. And you put shackles on it, and it just kind of like goes. I always picture that, but I always like to think of like the in between scenes. How long were those 2 stormtroopers getting tossed around before the door opened up? You know what I mean?
4 hours.
Like they're like, God, I hate this job. I've been falling for 3 hours.
Wow.
That slave, as soon as Slave 2 came in, that really surprised me. I didn't expect that. In terms of the Jedi, I came in when you guys were finishing that up. I don't know when they'll show that. Possibly last episode, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I said it earlier, but seeing as how Jon Favreau is into things being badass, I feel like he is the one that would bring Mace Windu back, specifically, and that I want him to show up after all the fighting is done. Just like I was just like, you couldn't have got here like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Or he shows up at the beginning and says, "This party started."
Do you think he would appear to? Oh, is someone else talking?
No, go ahead, Vanessa.
Do you think he would appear at the end to everyone, the whole cast, or like? I'm thinking of sort of the Last Jedi kid with the broom sort of thing, like someone just, whoever the Jedi is, like getting the signal from Grogu and being like, and then it just ends, like sort of like how we got with.
Oh yeah.
Are
we even going to get to see? I hope so. If it is Windu, that's going to play some part in the Mando because as soon as Boba Fett sees Mace Windu, he's going to try to kill him.
Oh shit! Yeah,
and then Mando would have to figure out who to side with at that point. That is drama.
And then that would play into my theory of Boba Fett being the antagonist in the 3rd season. I'm going to keep hammering on that hope until it's gone, which I will probably be wrong because I often am on my predictions. But that's not going to stop me from making them.
The one thing that I would like that feels like almost sacrilege when I say it, but knowing how insanely talented this actor is, I'm so insanely on board with Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. And it feels wrong to say, but when I think about how good he is as an actor and how good he was transforming in I, Tonya, I could totally see him doing it well if they were to go that route.
Oh,
yeah.
And I was saying I don't want it to be Luke because if Luke takes him to his new Jedi school, we know how that ends, and it's not well.
I'm curious if the show, if he gets him to the Jedi, does the show end? I mean, the promise of the premise is sort of become Mando and Grogu.
Yeah, it's a wolf and cub show.
Do you think? I mean,
Good point.
we're like waiting for him to get him to the Jedi, but that kind of ends the show, you know?
Which stands to reason is Giancarlo is Moff Gideon going to be defeated this season, because he was teased. He became the big bad at the end of season 1. If we are getting a season 3, they're going to introduce a brand new villain.
Yeah.
He's only been in what, 2 episodes this season, maybe 3.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull a Rebels, and this Jedi is going to be part of the Mandalorian.
It's gonna be Sam Witwer. He's just gonna come in as somebody.
I mean, think about it. You didn't really expect 2 Jedi to come out of Rebels and just be Jedi as part of their crew.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's really
Jedi. They never see it coming.
Yeah, it's really interesting too, because like it's so strange to like this show has done a great job of like making us ignore what we kind of know. Like we know the Jedi, like from what we know, we're pretty confident that there's no Jedi Order right now. There's no group of people. Like he keeps talking about like, we'll get you to your people. It's like, you'll get him to like one person who's in hiding. And that's like about as good as it'll get for Grogu. Like unless there's a secret one, or unless it becomes Luke's new order, but it's very much like, from what we know, there's no group of people. It's going to be Ezra in a cave. Like they're all in hiding.
That's actually one of the reasons why I lean also, because I really want it to be Quinlan Vos, like a grizzled old Quinlan Vos that shows up, because the actor themselves could be anyone, right? It wouldn't need to be anyone noticeable, and this would be someone that could first of all, knowing Quinlan's personality, he's not the easiest person to get along with. He's kind of dirty and he's kind of a dick. And I think
good. We don't want just them to get together and everything's fine. Like we need conflict of some sort.
Drama. And I think we need someone, because either he gives a child away and the show's over, or they get this grizzled old Jedi who joins them on their quest going forward. I don't know. What do you guys think? Vanessa?
I think it would be hilarious if Quinlan Vos came in, like after reading Dark Disciple and all of that, and how it would contrast with Din's character, and like, this is the way. Like, Din has been meeting he's met other Mandalorians, or at least other people that, not necessarily that they disagree with the way he lives, but they're kind of exposing him to that there is more to just living by the way of the creed. And Quinlan Vos is just crazy. He's very a rambunctious person, I guess I could say. And I think Din is expecting someone who also lives who sort of lives by a code, I guess. Like he went to Ahsoka and he expected her to just accept Grogu with open arms, and she was like, no, I can't do that. And he was like, what? Like he's sort of like a creature of habit, and he needs everything to be done the way they're planned out in his head. So it would be very.
I know. I love that he's just going around the galaxy being like, but this is the way.
Yeah.
It's not the way, bud. And he's like, this is the way. Like,
there's never so heard about
ways
that.
You don't know about. This is the way.
To see the Return of the Jedi scene, but from Yoda's eyes, where he's seeing ripples in everything and around everything, and he's watching Luke try to lift the X-Wing, and then he's like, you idiot. Like, you are not lifting it. The Force is lifting it. And if you could see how much is around us right now, like, obviously it can be done. What's wrong with this game?
Yeah.
But
And
Okay.
you see the same thing in The Last Jedi from
Yeah.
a certain point of view.
And
First
also, what it'll
flashback
be
to
like
Star Wars, man.
when Luke cut himself off from the Force and stopped saying it. You know how weird that would feel. But
Yeah.
all right, guys, I do have to end. And may the
Another
Force
hour-long-
waves.
hour-long point to make.
May the Force wave.
May the
with you.
Force ripples.